The corridor stretched endlessly before him. White walls. Sterile silence. The soft hum of medical equipment somewhere in the distance. 50-year-old business tycoon Kang Tae-hyun walked slowly through one of Seoul's most exclusive maternity hospitals, his Italian leather shoes echoing against polished floors. His chief legal advisor had called him 20 minutes ago. The words still didn't make sense. "Chairman, you need to come immediately. It's urgent. Life-changing urgent." He stopped walking. His breath caught somewhere between his chest and his throat. 4 newborn babies lay peacefully beside one another inside identical bassinets. Tiny. Perfect. Impossibly real. Every hospital bracelet carried the same surname. Kang. His hands trembled at his sides. Across the room stood a woman from his forgotten past. The woman he believed had disappeared forever. She slowly raised tear-filled eyes toward him. The attending doctor gently removed his glasses and spoke softly. "Congratulations, Chairman Kang. You're the father of quadruplets." The room fell completely silent. No dramatic shouting. No accusations. Only overwhelming disbelief filling every corner of that pristine hospital room. A lifetime of loneliness ended in one impossible moment. And Kang Tae-hyun, the man who built an empire alone, suddenly couldn't remember how to breathe. Please like, share, and subscribe. 3 weeks earlier, Seoul glittered beneath the autumn sky like scattered diamonds against black velvet. From the 62nd floor of Kong Imperial Tower, the city looked small, manageable, controllable. Chairman Kang Tae-hyun stood before floor-to-ceiling windows, hands clasped behind his back. His reflection stared back at him, distinguished, composed, untouchable. Salt and pepper hair swept back precisely. Sharp jawline carved from years of discipline. Calm, piercing eyes that revealed nothing. The ebony and jade bracelet on his left wrist caught the dying sunlight. A gift from his years of humanitarian work across West Africa. A reminder of a different life. A different man. Chairman. His executive assistant bowed slightly at the door. The board meeting begins in 10 minutes. Tae-hyun didn't turn around. The quarterly reports. Exceeding projections by 18%. And the Nairobi hotel acquisition? Finalized this morning. He nodded once. Efficiency. Control. Empire. These were the only children he would ever have. Later that evening, the penthouse felt larger than usual. 30,000 square feet of silence. Tae-hyun loosened his tie and poured himself a glass of aged whiskey. The amber liquid caught the city lights. He didn't drink it. He never did. He simply held the glass, watching Seoul breathe beneath him. Somewhere in the city, millions of families gathered around dinner tables. Children laughed. Parents scolded. Grandparents told stories. He had none of that. The accident 15 years ago had taken more than his ability to walk for 2 years. It had taken his future. The damage is permanent, Chairman. I'm sorry. Children will never be possible. He'd accepted it. Buried the grief beneath board meetings and acquisition deals. Built the largest luxury hotel empire in Asia. And learned to stop wanting what could never be. His phone buzzed. A message from his younger cousin, Park Min-jun. Family dinner tomorrow. Mother insists. Don't make me beg. Tae-hyun typed a response. I'll consider it. He wouldn't go. He never did. Family dinners meant questions about marriage. About heirs. About legacy. And Kang Tae-hyun had no answers. Only silence. Across the city, Zara Mensah wiped flour from her hands and checked the oven timer. The small artisan bakery glowed warmly against the evening chill. Zara's kitchen, the hand-painted sign had survived 3 Seoul winters. Like her. Surviving. Always surviving. She moved through the kitchen with practiced grace. Warm brown skin. Soft expressive eyes that carried years of unspoken secrets. Simple elegant clothing, a cream sweater, worn jeans, an apron dusted with cocoa powder. Beautiful in the way only resilient women could be. The bell above the door chimed. Her best friend, Dr. Yoon Seo-yeon, rushed in with cheeks flushed from the cold. Zara. Why aren't you answering your phone? Zara's hands stilled. What's wrong? Seo-yun's expression shifted. Concern. Fear. Something deeper. It's time, she whispered. The babies. They're coming early. We need to go. Now. The wooden spoon clattered to the floor. Before sunrise. Seoul Metropolitan Maternity Hospital hummed with quiet urgency. Zara gripped the hospital bed railings, breathing through each contraction. 4 babies. 8 weeks premature. And a secret she had carried for 9 months. You need to tell him, Seo-yun urged, holding her hand. Before it's too late. Zara shook her head, tears streaming. He doesn't know I exist anymore. He can't know. These children deserve. What? A father who was told he could never have them? A man who moved on. A scandal that would destroy everything he built. The machines beeped faster. The medical team rushed in. And Zara Mensah prayed to every ancestor who had ever loved her. Let them survive. Let them be healthy. Let me protect them from the truth. 12 hours later. 4 tiny bodies. 4 perfect miracles. The neonatal unit glowed soft blue as Zara counted 10 fingers, 10 toes, 4 times over. Each baby bore the unmistakable features of their father. Sharp eyes. Tiny dimples. Calm, observant expressions even in sleep. They're beautiful, Seo-yun whispered. They look exactly like. Don't. Zara's voice cracked. Please don't say it. But Seo-yun was already making a phone call. One that would change everything. The legal advisor's name was attorney Hwang Jin-woo. He had served the Kong family for 30 years. He had seen scandals buried. Enemies destroyed. Secrets protected. But nothing prepared him for this. 4 children, he repeated into the phone. All carrying the Kong surname. DNA confirmation pending, but the resemblance is undeniable. Silence on the other end. Then Chairman Kang's voice, lower than usual. Dangerously controlled. I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later. Taehyun's driver broke 7 traffic laws reaching the hospital. The chairman didn't notice. His mind spun through impossible calculations. 15 years ago, doctors had been absolute. No children. Ever. He had grieved. Accepted. Moved forward. And now. The elevator doors opened. The corridor stretched endlessly. White walls. Sterile silence. And then 4 bassinets. 4 impossibly small humans. Each bracelet reading, Kong. His legs stopped working. The woman across the room raised her eyes. Eyes he had never forgotten. Zara. Her name escaped his lips like a prayer. Like a ghost returning to haunt him. Taehyun. The doctor stepped forward, removing his glasses. Congratulations, Chairman Kong. You're the father of quadruplets. No one moved. No one breathed. The world stopped spinning. And Kong Taehyun finally understood. Everything he believed was a lie. Later that night, the hospital chapel sat empty. Candlelight flickered against stained glass windows. 2 people who hadn't spoken in 8 years faced each other across wooden pews. How? Taehyun's voice was barely audible. How is this possible? Zara's hands twisted in her lap. The doctors were wrong. About everything. You disappeared. The accusation hung between them. You left without a word. Without explanation. I searched for you for 3 years. Her tears fell silently. I had to. Had to. You had to abandon me when I was learning to walk again? When I needed. I was protecting you. The words echoed against ancient stone. Taehyun stilled. From what? Zara closed her eyes. The truth she had buried for 8 years clawed toward the surface. Your family. Your board. Your empire. They came to me, Taehyun. They told me what I was, a volunteer nurse from Ghana with no name, no connections, no future. They said I was a distraction. That I would destroy your recovery. Your reputation. His jaw tightened. Who? Your cousin. Min Jun's mother. and 3 board members whose names I didn't know. The silence that followed was devastating. Hours later, the neonatal unit remained quiet. Taehyun stood before the bassinets, watching 4 tiny chests rise and fall. "I named them," Zara said softly from the doorway. "Would you like to know?" He nodded once. "Ji-yeon, the eldest by 3 minutes. It means beautiful and gracious." She pointed to the second bassinet. "Min-seo, clever and admired. She's the smallest, but the doctors say she's the strongest." Third bassinet. "Kwame, after my grandfather. It means born on Saturday in a can. He was born at 11:59 Saturday night." Fourth bassinet. "And Taewon, named for you, whether you want it or not." Taehyun's hand trembled as he reached toward the smallest baby, Min-seo. His finger brushed her impossibly tiny hand. She gripped it. Reflex. Instinct. Something deeper. His breathing became uneven. "I thought I would die alone," he whispered. "I accepted it. I built an empire because I couldn't build a family. And now." He turned toward her. His eyes, those calm, piercing eyes that revealed nothing, finally broke. "Now I don't know how to breathe." 3 days later, the results arrived in a sealed envelope. Attorney Huang presented it with trembling hands. 99.9% probability of paternity. Taehyun stared at the numbers. Scientific proof of the impossible. The medical records from 15 years ago. He couldn't finish the question. Huang cleared his throat. "We investigated. The original diagnosis was based on incomplete tests during your trauma recovery. There was always a small chance, infinitesimal, but real. The doctors simply chose certainty over hope." Certainty over hope. 5 words that had defined 15 years of loneliness. "Chairman," Huang continued carefully, "the press will find out. The board will react. Your family. I know. What would you like us to do?" Taehyun folded the DNA results and placed them in his breast pocket. "Prepare for war." The same evening, Park Min-jun arrived at the hospital unannounced. Younger by 12 years. Handsome. Charming. And desperately seeking what Taehyun had always possessed. Power. "Cousin." Min-jun embraced him warmly. "I heard the most fascinating rumors." His eyes drifted toward the nursery window. Toward Zara, who sat reading to the babies. "Beautiful woman," he murmured. "African, isn't she? How exotic." Taehyun's expression didn't change. But his hand, the one wearing the ebony and jade bracelet, curled into a fist. "Why are you here, Min-jun?" "Family concern. Mother is worried. The board is asking questions. For illegitimate children appearing from nowhere, the stocks will plummet." "They're not illegitimate." Min-jun's smile faltered. "Excuse me. They're my children. Legal heirs to everything I own." The warmth drained from Min-jun's face. "That's quite the claim. Without marriage. I'm aware of inheritance law." Taehyun's voice dropped to ice. "I also remember what your mother did 8 years ago." Silence. "Don't pretend ignorance. I know everything. And when I'm finished investigating, the world will know too." Min-jun's mask cracked. Fear flickered beneath charm. "You're making a mistake, cousin. Those children, that woman, they'll destroy everything." "No." Taehyun stepped closer. "You will try to destroy everything. And I will stop you." 1 week later, news of Chairman Kang's mysterious children leaked to the press. Headlines exploded. Hotel tycoon's secret family revealed. Quadruplets. Scandal or miracle? Who is the mystery woman? Zara's bakery was surrounded by reporters. Her face appeared on every entertainment news channel. And someone else took notice. Across Seoul, director Cha Dong-wook watched the news coverage with growing interest. 45 years old. Founder of Korea's second-largest hospitality conglomerate. And Kang Taehyun's oldest rival. "The woman," he said to his assistant. "Find out everything." 2 days later, Zara received flowers at her bakery. Expensive, elegant, accompanied by a card. I understand what it means to face powerful enemies alone. Perhaps we could help each other. CDW. She threw the card in the trash. But Dongwook was patient. He always got what he wanted. That evening, Taehyun arrived at the bakery unexpectedly. His security team surrounded the building while he stepped inside. The smell of fresh bread and cocoa filled the small space. It felt warm, real. Nothing like his penthouse. You shouldn't be here, Zara said, continuing to knead dough. The reporters. I don't care about reporters. She looked up. His eyes held something unfamiliar. Vulnerability. I've arranged security for you. Private protection until the media storm passes. I don't need your protection. You have 4 premature infants in a private hospital and your face is on every news channel in Korea. You need protection. She stopped kneading. Is that why you're here? To manage another crisis. He stepped closer. The space between them shrank. I'm here because I haven't slept since the hospital. Because every time I close my eyes, I see 4 tiny hands. And your face. Her breath caught. Taehyun. I spent 15 years believing I was meant to be alone. And then you reappeared with 4 impossible miracles. So no, I'm not here to manage a crisis. He reached out. His fingers brushed her flour-dusted cheek. I'm here because I don't know how to exist without seeing you. The moment stretched between them. 8 years of silence. 8 years of secrets. 8 years of longing neither had allowed themselves to name. The door chimed. His security chief interrupted. Chairman. We have a situation. The moment shattered. But something had shifted. And neither of them could pretend otherwise. The following morning, Kong Imperial Tower's boardroom filled with tension. 12 men and women sat around a mahogany table worth more than most apartments. Taehyun entered last. His presence silenced every whisper. I'll address the obvious, he began, standing at the head of the table. Yes. I have 4 children. Yes. Their mother is an extraordinary woman of Ghanaian heritage. No. This is not a scandal. This is my family. Board member Choi raised her hand. With respect, Chairman, the stocks have dropped 11%. Investors are nervous. A foreign woman, unknown children. The children are Korean. They were born in Seoul. They carry my blood. And any investor uncomfortable with my family is welcome to sell their shares. Silence. Furthermore, Taehyun continued, I will be conducting an internal investigation into unauthorized interference in my personal life 8 years ago. Several board members may be implicated. Chairs shifted uncomfortably. Any questions? No one spoke. Good. We're done here. After the meeting, Attorney Huang intercepted him in the hallway. Chairman, there's been a development. Director Cha Dong-wook has approached Miss Mensa. Taehyun's steps slowed. Approached how? Flowers. Gifts. A meeting request. The calm in his eyes hardened into something dangerous. Double her security. And find out exactly what Dong-wook wants. 1 week later, Director Cha Dong-wook finally secured his meeting. A private lunch at Seoul's most exclusive restaurant. Zara arrived reluctantly. Curiosity outweighed caution. Miss Mensa. Dong-wook rose, all charm and calculated warmth. Thank you for coming. She didn't sit. What do you want? Direct. I appreciate that. He gestured toward the seat. Please. 5 minutes. She sat, watching him carefully. I understand you're in a difficult position, he began. Chairman Kong is complicated. His family is ruthless. The media attention must be exhausting. Get to the point. He smiled. I'm proposing an alliance. My company can provide financial support for your children's future. Educational trusts. Healthcare funds. Independence from the Kong family's politics. In exchange for your cooperation. Certain information about Chairman Kang's business practices. Nothing illegal. Just competitive intelligence. Zara's expression didn't change, but her ancestors' blood ran hot. You want me to betray the father of my children? I want to offer you options. She stood slowly. Director Cha. I grew up in a village where women carried water for miles and raised kingdoms from dust. I built a bakery in a foreign country with no connections and no support. I gave birth to 4 babies who shouldn't exist. She leaned forward. Do you really think you can buy me with a lunch? His smile froze. Consider your position carefully, Miss Mensa. Chairman Kong has enemies. Many enemies. And I'm offering friendship. I don't need your friendship. She walked out. Dignity intact. That evening, Taehyun listened to the security report in silence. She refused him, his chief confirmed. Completely. Something in his chest loosened. She's stronger than any of them realize. Sir. He looked toward the nursery window. 4 babies slept peacefully. Zara sat beside them, singing an Akan lullaby in a voice like honey and moonlight. Nothing, he said quietly. Just nothing. 2 weeks later. The attack came at 3 a.m. 4 masked figures entered the private hospital wing. Alarms triggered. Security mobilized. But the intruders reached the nursery first. Zara heard the commotion and ran from her adjacent recovery room. She found them lifting baby Min-seo from her bassinet. No. The sound that escaped her throat was primal. Animal. A mother's fury given voice. She threw herself at the nearest figure. Nails raking. Teeth biting. Fighting with everything her ancestors had given her. Security arrived seconds later. Gunshots echoed. The intruders fled. Empty-handed. Dawn broke. Taehyun burst through the hospital doors. Still wearing last night's clothes. Eyes wild. Terrified. He found Zara in the nursery, clutching all 4 babies to her chest. Bruises foaming on her arms. A cut on her cheek. But alive. Whole. Victorious. They tried to take them, she whispered. They tried to take my babies. He dropped to his knees before her. The chairman of Asia's largest hotel empire. Kneeling. Shaking. I'm sorry. His voice broke. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. My enemies. This isn't your fault. She reached out. Touched his face. This is what happens when evil thinks it can win. He looked at her. At her bruised arms. Her bleeding cheek. Her unconquerable spirit. Marry me. The words escaped before he could stop them. What? Marry me. Not for politics. Not for protection. Because I have loved you for 8 years without knowing you were alive. Because you fought for our children with your bare hands. Because I cannot live another day pretending I don't need you. She stared at him. 4 babies stirred between them. Taehyun, you can't just. I can. He gripped her hands. I'm 50 years old. I've built everything a man can build. And none of it means anything without you. Tears streamed down her face. Ask me again. What? Ask me again. Properly. He took a breath. Zara Mensa. Will you marry me? She smiled through tears. Yes. 1 month later. Attorney Huang's investigation uncovered everything. The conspiracy ran deeper than expected. Park Min-jun's mother, Aunt Kong So-young, had orchestrated Zara's disappearance 8 years ago. 3 board members had assisted. Director Cha Dong-wook had funded the kidnapping attempt. And within Kong Imperial's own ranks, executives had been feeding information to competitors for years. The confrontation happened at the Kong family estate. 3 generations gathered. Taehyun entered with Zara at his side. 4 babies cradled by trusted nurses behind them. Aunt So-young's face paled. What is she doing here? She's my fiancée. Taehyun's voice carried steel. And the mother of my children. This is outrageous. The family will never. The family will accept my decision. He produced documents. Or face exposure. 8 years ago, you threatened an innocent woman. You drove her away to protect your son's inheritance. You cost me 15 years of believing I would die alone. So-young's mask crumbled. I was protecting the family legacy. You were protecting your position. He turned to the assembled family. These children are Kang's. Their mother will be my wife. Anyone who opposes this can leave the family permanently. Silence. Min Jun stepped forward. Cousin, please. You funded the kidnapping. The room gasped. I have proof. Security footage. Financial records. Everything. Min Jun's charm evaporated into naked fear. I didn't mean, they weren't supposed to hurt anyone. You tried to steal my children. You endangered their mother. Taehyun's calm cracked. For the first time, raw fury emerged. You will face criminal charges. You will lose everything. And you will never come near my family again. 2 months later, the press conference took place at Kong Imperial Tower. Every major news outlet attended. Cameras flashed. Microphones multiplied. Chairman Kong Taehyun stood at the podium. Beside him, Zara held baby Taewon. The other 3 infants rested peacefully in their custom carriers. Ladies and gentlemen, Taehyun began. I'm here to address the rumors that have surrounded my family. He paused, looked at Zara, found courage in her eyes. 15 years ago, I was told I could never have children. I accepted this as fact. I built an empire to fill the emptiness. I succeeded by every measure except the one that mattered. I was profoundly alone. The room fell silent. 8 months ago, I discovered I was wrong. These 4 children, Ji-yeon, Min-seo, Kwame, and Taewon, are my biological heirs. Their mother, Zara Mensa, is the strongest, most graceful woman I have ever known. He reached for her hand. She was driven away years ago by members of my own family. She protected these children alone, asking nothing from me, expecting nothing. She fought attackers with her bare hands when they tried to steal our babies. His voice deepened with emotion. I am not announcing a scandal. I am announcing a miracle. These children exist despite medical certainty. Their mother loved them into existence against impossible odds. And I will spend the rest of my life being worthy of both. He turned to face Zara fully. Cameras captured every angle. To the woman who gave me everything I never believed I could have. I love you. Without reservation. Without condition. Forever. Zara's tears fell freely. But she was smiling. I love you too, she whispered. He pulled her close. And before the entire world, they kissed. The room erupted. But the only sound that mattered was the quiet cooing of 4 babies who had just witnessed their parents choose each other. Finally. Completely. Permanently. 3 months later. Snow fell gently on Seoul's ancient palace grounds. The wedding blended Korean tradition with Ghanaian heritage. Zara wore a custom hanbok adorned with Adinkra symbols. The white silk cascaded like fresh snow. Gold embroidery represented Sankofa, the symbol of learning from the past. Taehyun wore traditional Korean attire. His ebony and jade bracelet caught the winter light. A new ring, forged from both African and Korean metals, waited in his pocket. The ceremony. Family, employees, and carefully selected media gathered. The quadruplets, now 4 months old, watched from their grandmother's arms. Zara's mother had flown from Ghana. She wept quietly. Happy tears. Finally, happy tears. The officiant spoke of bridges. Between cultures. Between hearts. Between impossible past and miraculous present. Do you, Kong Taehyun, take this woman as your wife? I do. His voice carried unwavering certainty. In this life and whatever comes after. Do you, Zara Mensa, take this man as your husband? She looked at him. At the man who had waited 15 years. At the father her children adored. At her future. I do. With my whole heart. The rings were exchanged. The kiss was tender. The applause thundered. And somewhere in the universe, ancestors from both continents smiled. Kong family estate. The garden bloomed with spring flowers. For toddlers crawled across a massive blanket spread on the grass. Ji-yun, the eldest, reached for a butterfly. Min-seo, the smallest but strongest, climbed over her siblings. Kwame laughed at everything. Taewon watched everyone with his father's quiet intensity. Zara sat beneath a cherry blossom tree, watching her children discover the world. Footsteps approached. Taehyun settled beside her. His hand found hers. "The Nairobi hotel opens next month," he said. "I thought we could take the children. Show them where some of their heritage comes from." She smiled. "They're 1 year old. They won't remember. But we will." He pulled her closer. "I spent 50 years building an empire because I thought that was all I could have. Meetings. Acquisitions. An endless race toward nothing." He looked at their children. "I was wrong about everything important." Zara rested her head on his shoulder. "We both were." "No." He kissed her forehead. "You were brave. You protected them. You survived. You're the reason any of this exists. We're the reason. Both of us." Baby Kwame crawled toward them, babbling happily. Taehyun scooped him up effortlessly. "Your grandmother wants to take you to Ghana next summer," he told the infant seriously. "She says you need to learn proper Akan." Kwame grabbed his father's jade bracelet. "I'll take that as agreement." That evening, the family gathered for dinner. 4 high chairs surrounded the table. 4 tiny faces covered in mashed vegetables. 4 sets of eyes that carried impossible genetics, Korean precision, African warmth. Zara's mother led the blessing. Taehyun's remaining loyal family members joined hands. The staff watched from doorways, smiling. This was what empire truly meant. Not buildings. Not stocks. Not power. This. Before bed, Taehyun stood in the nursery doorway. 4 cribs. 4 nightlights. 4 peaceful sleepers. Zara appeared beside him. "What are you thinking?" He wrapped his arm around her waist. "That I almost missed this. All of it. If you hadn't been brave enough to come forward. If you hadn't been brave enough to choose us. There was never a choice." He turned to face her. "From the moment I saw them, saw you, there was only one path forward." She touched his face. Traced the lines that age and hardship had carved. "I love you, Kong Taehyun. I love you, Zara Kong." She smiled at the name. Her new name. Her forever name. He leaned down. Their lips met. Soft. Tender. Full of promises kept and promises still to come. The scene faded to black. Final morning. Sunlight filled the bedroom. For babies had migrated into their parents' bed during the night. Zara woke to find Taehyun already watching her. "You're staring," she murmured. "Memorizing. We've been married a year. Not long enough." Min-seo yawned between them. Ji-yun kicked her father's arm. Kwame giggled in his sleep. Taewon opened one suspicious eye, confirmed everything was safe, then closed it again. Zara laughed. The sound filled every corner of the room. Taehyun smiled, a real smile, rare and precious. "We should get up," she said. "The world is waiting. Let it wait." He pulled the covers higher. 4 babies. 2 hearts. 1 family. Outside, Seoul began its daily rhythm. Empires rose and fell. Stocks fluctuated. Enemies plotted. But inside this room, surrounded by impossible miracles, love had won. Completely. Permanently. Forever. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more Afro-Korean romance stories. Thank you for watching. Until next time,